this is part 4. I went back and seen how many parts, so the last part was part 3. This is part 4. Chapter 13, The Pull of the Dark. The Titans confronted the villain downtown. Raven's connection to him becomes undeniable when Beast Boy refuses to let her fall. Downtown Jump City was chaos. Cars abandoned, streetlights flickered, the red haze hanging in the air like smoke. Civilians ran in every direction as the masked villain hovered above the intersections, red energy spiraling around him like a storm. Robin landed first, staff drawn. Titans formation. Starfire shot into the air, eyes blazing green. Cyborg took position beside Robin, cannon charging. Beast Boy landed last, with Raven beside him. She looked pale, too pale. Her cloak fluttered in a wind that wasn't there. A faint red shimmer pulsed beneath her skin like something alive. Beast Boy leaned close. Ray, you don't have to do this. Yes, she whispered, I do. Before you could argue, the villain's voice boomed across the street. Welcome back, little empath. Raven flinched. Beast Boy stepped in front of her. Back off. The villain tilted his head. You brought him. How sweet. Robin pointed his staff. We're ending this now. The villain laughed, a low, cold sound that made the air vibrate. You think you can stop me? I'm already inside her. Raven gasped, clutching her head as a spike of pain shot through her skull. Raven, Beast Boy grabbed her shoulders. Her eyes snapped open, glowing red, not violet, not white. Red. The villain smiled beneath his mask. There she is. Starfire fired a blast of green energy at him, but he deflected it effortlessly, sending it crashing into a nearby building. Cyborg fired his cannon. Robin charged. The villain barely moved. He raised a hand and Raven screamed. Her powers exploded outward in a shock wave of black and red energy, knocking the Titans off their feet. Beast Boy hit the pavement hard, rolling until he skidded to a stop. He pushed himself up instantly. Raven, he shouted. She hovered above the ground, eyes glowing red, shadows swirling violently around her. Her voice came out, layered, disordered. Garfield, run. He shook his head, not happening. The villain floated beside her, placing his hand near her temple without touching. She can't fight me, she's mine. Raven's body jerked as if pulled by invisible strings. Beast Boy's heart dropped. Red, look at me. She turned toward him, but her expression wasn't hers. It was empty, lost. The villain whispered, break. Raven's powers surged, a violent blast aimed directly at Beast Boy. He didn't dodge, he didn't shift. He stood his ground. Raven, he said, voice steady, despite the energy crackling toward him. I'm not afraid of you. The blast hit, but instead of tearing him apart, the shadows wrapped around him, curling, twisting, and dissolving harmlessly. Raven gasped, her eyes flickered from red to violet. Garfield, she whispered, voice breaking through the distortion. I didn't mean... I know, he said, stepping closer. Fight him. The villain snarled, she can't. Raven screamed again, clutching her head. The red shimmer pulsed violently beneath her skin. Beast Boy reached her, grabbing her hands. Ray, stay with me. Her eyes flickered wild, red, violet, red again. I can't, she choked. He's pulling me. Then hold on to me, he whispered fiercely. I'm right here. The villain raised both hands, red energy swirling into a massive spear. Let's see how long you can hold her. Raven's body jerked violently as the villain's power surged through her. Beast Boy pulled her into his arms, grounding her, anchoring her. Raven, he whispered against her hair, come back to me. Her breath hitched, her fingers curled into his shirt. Her eyes flickered red, then violet, just for a second, but enough. The villain's smile faltered, impossible. Raven's voice trembled. Garfield. He held her tighter. I've got you. The villain roared, unleashing a massive spear of red energy. Robin shouted, Titans, brace. Starfire and Cyborg fired everything they had. But the blast was too strong. It hit. The street exploded. Dust and debris filled the air. When the smoke cleared, Beast Boy was still standing, barely, holding Raven in his arms. Her eyes were closed, her breathing shallow, but the red glow was gone. The villain staggered back, mask cracked. No, this isn't. Shit. I'm so sorry. Robin stepped forward, staff raised. It's over. The villain vanished in a burst of red light, retreating, not defeating. Beast Boy sank to his knees, cradling Raven gently. Ray, he whispered, brushing her hair from the face. Please wake up. Her fingers twitched. Her eyes fluttered open. Violet, soft, exhausted. Garfield, she breathed. He exhaled shakily, forehead resting against hers. You came back. She managed a weak smile. You pulled me back. The team gathered around them, battered but alive. But Raven's voice trembled as she whispered the words that choked them all. He's not gone. Beast Boy tightened his hold, and the tower lights flickered in the distance. Chapter 14. The Edge of Control. Raven's connection to the villain intensifies. The Titans prepare for another confrontation, but Beast Boy sees the cracks forming before anyone else. The tower felt colder than usual, not physically. The temperature was normal, but the atmosphere had shifted. Every hallway felt like it was holding its breath. Every shadow seemed deeper. Every sound echoed too long. Raven sat in the common room, curled into the corner of the couch, cloak wrapped tightly around her. She stared out the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. She didn't blink, she didn't move, she barely breathed. Beast Boy approached quietly, not wanting to startle her. Ray, you okay? She didn't answer. He sat beside her, close but not touching. Talk to me. Her voice came up flat. I can't. You found. Why not? She finally turned her head and her stomach dropped. Her eyes were violet but rimmed with red. Because he's listening, she whispered. Beast Boy's heart clenched. Right now? She nodded once, barely perceptible. He's always there, watching, waiting. He reached for her hand slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Her fingers were cold. Ray, he said softly, we'll figure this out. She shook her head. You don't understand. Every time I use my powers, he gets stronger. Every time I feel anything, he gets closer. Beast Boy swallowed hard. Then we'll keep him out. You can't, she whispered. He's inside me. Before he could respond, the tower alarm blared. Robin's voice crackled over the comms. Titans reported to the command room now. Raven flinched at the sound, pressing a hand to her temple. Beast Boy stood and offered his hand. Come on. She hesitated, then took it. Her hand trembled the whole way to the command room. Starboard glowed like a hologram of the city. Red energy spikes pulsed across the map like a heartbeat. Robin's jaw tightened. He's back. Starfire hovered anxiously. Is he attempting to take friend Raven again? Raven stiffened. Beast Boy stepped closer to her. He's not taking her anywhere. Starfire zoomed in all the readings. These sparks aren't random. They're synchronized like he's building something. Robin nodded. A ritual, summoning or a trap. Raven's voice was very audible. It's for me. Everyone turned to her. She stared at the hologram, eyes distant. He's calling me. Beast Boy grabbed her hand again. Ignore him. I can't, she whispered. He's in my mind, pulling, whispering, showing me things. Starfire floated closer. What things? Raven's breath hitched. A future where I lose control. A future where I hurt all of you. Beast Boy stepped in front of her, forcing her to meet his eyes. That's not real. It could be, she said, voice cracking. You saw what happened last time. I saw you fight it, he said. I saw you chose us. Her eyes softened, but only for a moment. Then she gasped, clutching her head as a sharp pain shot through her skull. Raven, Beast Boy caught her as she staggered. Her eyes flashed red. The lights flickered. Starboard scanners beeped wildly. Her energy levels are spiking. Robin stepped forward. Raven, stay with us. She shook violently, voice layered and distorted. He's pulling me. Again. Beast Boy wrapped his arms around her, grounded her. Ray, look at me. Her eyes flickered, red, violet, red again. Garfield, she whispered. I'm slipping. No, he said fiercely. You're not. She trembled harder. I can't hold him back. Yes, you can, he whispered, pressing his forehead to hers. Because I'm right here. Her breathing steadied just a little. The red glow dimmed, but the villain's voice echoed through her mind, loud enough that the room seemed to vibrate. Come to me. Raven's knees buckled. Beast Boy held her tighter. Robin's voice was grim. We need a plan, fast. Starfire nodded. If he's inside her mind, we need to break this connection. Starfire floated closer, eyes glowing. How do we do that? Raven's voice was barely whispering. We can't. Beast Boy cupped her face, forcing her to look in. Then we'll find another way. Her eyes shimmered, not with power, but with fear. Garfield, what if I hurt you again? He didn't hesitate. Then I'll get back up. The voice caught. The red glow faded completely, but the villain's whisper lingered. Soon. Raven shivered. Beast Boy pulled her close, and the tower lights flickered again. Chapter 15, Into the Mind's Fire. The Titans attempted a dangerous psychic intervention to sever the villain's hold. Beast Boy volunteers to go with Raven, if it means losing himself. The command room was silent, not the calm kind of silence, the heavy, suffocating kind that settles right before a storm breaks. Raven sat at the center of the room, legs crossed, cloak pulled around her like spilled ink. Her hands trembling in her lap, the red shimmer beneath her skin pulsed faintly like a heartbeat that didn't belong to her. Cyborg adjusted the cables connected to the psychic stabilizer. This is the best shot we've got. If we can isolate the connection, we might be able to break it. Too many hours. Robin nodded. Raven, once we start, you'll be pulled inward. You'll be vulnerable. Starfire floated beside her, eyes full of worry. We shall protect you. Raven didn't look at any of them. Her gaze was fixed on the floor. Beast Boy knelt in front of her, gently lifting her chin. Ray, talk to me. Her voice was barely a whisper. If this goes wrong, it could hurt all of you. He shook his head. We've been over this. You're not hurting anyone. You don't know that. I know you. Her breath caught. He meant it. He always meant it. Robin cleared his throat. There was one more thing. Everyone turned. Robin's expression was grim. Raven won't be able to navigate her mind alone. Someone has to go with her. Cyborg crashes on, but whoever goes in will be exposed to the same psychic influence. If the villain pulls them in too, they might not come back. Sapphire's eyes widened. That is most dangerous. Raven stiffened. No, absolutely not. I won't let any of you risk. I'll do it. The words came from Beast Boy without hesitation. Raven's head snapped toward him. Garfield, no. He held her gaze. Yes. Robin found Beast Boy. I'm the one who can reach her, he said. Voice steady. I've done it before. I can do it again. Cyborg shook his head. This isn't the same as the realm. This is direct psychic contact. If you get pulled in, then I get pulled in, Beast Boy said. I'm not letting her face this alone. Raven's voice cracked. Garfield, please don't. He reached for her hand, threading his fingers through hers. Ray, look at me. She did, reluctantly, painfully. You're scared, he said softly. I get it, but I'm not. None of you. Not of you, not of what's in you, not of him. Her eyes shimmered. Fear, guilt, something deeper. Garfield, I don't want to lose you. You won't. Robin stepped forward. If we're doing this, we need to start now. The connection is getting stronger. Raven closed her eyes, exhaling shakily. Fine, but if anything happens to him, Beast Boy squeezed her hand. Nothing's happening. She didn't believe that, but she didn't let go. Raven and Beast Boy sat facing each other, knees touching. Cyborg activated the stabilizer, and a soft hum filled the room. Robin placed a hand on Beast Boy's shoulder. Stay focused. Don't let the realm pull you in too deep. Sapphire hovered behind Raven, glowing softly. We shall be here when you return. Raven opened her eyes, violet, trembling. Garfield, she whispered, if you feel him, if you hear him, don't listen. Smiled gently. I only listen to you. Her breath hitched. Cyborg flipped the final switch. All right, synchron neutron patterns in 3, 2, 1. The world dissolves. Beast Boy opened his eyes to darkness, not empty darkness, living darkness. Shadows moved like smoke, whispering, shifting, curling around him. He swallowed hard. Ray? A faint glow appeared in the distance, violent, flickering. He ran toward it. The ground beneath him rippled like water. The air felt thick, heavy with emotion. Memories flickered at the edges of vision. Raven as a child, Raven alone in Azarath, Raven crying in a tower when she thought no one could hear. He pushed through them. He reached the globe. Raven stood in the center of a swirling vortex of shadows, her cloak whipping violently, her eyes glowing red and violet in rapid flashing. She looked terrified. Raven, he shouted. She turned and the red in her eyes flared. Garfield, you shouldn't be here. He stepped closer. I told you, I'm not leaving you. The shadows surged between them, forming a barrier. A voice echoed through the room. You came back. The villain materialized behind Raven, his form larger, more distorted, feeding off her fear. Beast Boy growled, get away from her. The villain laughed. You think you can save her? You're already inside her mind. You're already mine. Raven screamed, clutching her hand. Garfield, run. He shook his head. No. He pushed through the shadows. They burned, clawed toward him, but he kept going. He reached her. He grabbed her hand. Right, he whispered, her voice shaking. Look at me. Her eyes flickered, red, violet, red. Garfield, she choked. I can't hold him back. Yes, you can, he said, pulling her close, because I'm here and I'm not letting go. The villain roared, sending a wave of red energy toward them. Beastboy wrapped his arms around Raven, shielding her. The blast hit. Pain exploded through him. Raven screamed his name, and the realm shattered. Chapter 16, The Anchor and the Abyss. And I'm gonna go to part 5.